A good day to you movie fans. Retro Movie Palace right here, your host Kurt. We are tackling another 10 facts you may not know about a movie. When I say Sylvester Stallone, you think maybe Rocky. I think Rambo 3. 10 facts you may not know about Rambo 3.
Rambo 3, directed by Peter MacDonald and co-written by Sylvester Stallone, follows Vietnam War veteran John Rambo as he embarks on a dangerous mission to Afghanistan. The film revolves around Rambo's quest to rescue his former commander, Colonel Sam Troutman, from the clutches of a ruthless Soviet Army colonel while aiding Afghan rebels in their fight against Soviet forces. Released in 1988, Rambo 3 was the most expensive film of its time. Despite its high production value, the movie received mixed reviews from critics and earned less than its predecessor, Rambo: First Blood Part 2, grossing $189 million worldwide. Here are 10 facts about Rambo 3. Number 1. The aircraft featured in Rambo 3. Ever wondered about the helicopter disguised as a Russian gunship in the movie? Well, surprise. It wasn't actually a Russian helicopter at all. It was an Aerospatiale SA-341T2 Gazelle, which had been modified and used previously in another film, Blue Thunder, in 1983. This chopper, designed jointly by British and French engineers, made its mark in the movie with its unique appearance. Additionally, are those 4 fighter aircraft you spot from a distance at the beginning of the film. They are IAIK-4s, a modified version of the Dassault Mirage 5. These behind-the-scenes insights add another layer of realism and authenticity to the action-packed sequences in Rambo 3. Number 2. A tribute to Ahmad Shah Massoud. Let's talk about a cool reference in Rambo 3 that pays homage to a real-life hero. You might have noticed the character Massoud, played by Spiros Focus, in the movie. Well, he's actually a nod to Ahmad Shah Massoud, a significant figure in Afghan history. Ahmad Shah Massoud was a leader of the Afghan resistance against the Russian occupation back in the day. After the Russian occupation ended, he even served as the Minister of Defense of Afghanistan. Later on, when the Taliban regime took over, Massoud once again led the resistance against them. So the character Massoud in Rambo 3 is a subtle tribute to this amazing leader and his contributions to the fight for freedom in Afghanistan. Number 3. Behind the scenes at the Monk's Temple. So, you know those scenes with Rambo and Colonel Troutman inside the Monk's Temple? Turns out, that temple was the real deal. Director Peter MacDonald spilled the beans in the DVD commentary, revealing that the temple was actually undergoing renovations in Thailand when they filmed those scenes. But here's the kicker. Many of the extras playing monks were real monks from that very temple. Yep, they were paid to appear in the movie, along with some other extras who were just dressed up as monks. MacDonald was pretty stoked about it, mentioning how happy he was to give money to people who truly needed it, rather than those who already had plenty. Number 4. The changing times. During the filming, the Soviet Union was still in Afghanistan, just like you see in the film. But here's the twist. About 4 weeks before the movie premiered, the Soviets began their withdrawal from Afghanistan. MacDonald thought this affected the movie's box office performance, because suddenly the idea of the Soviets being the main villains wasn't as believable. However, MacDonald also saw a silver lining in this situation. He felt that maybe, just maybe, the events depicted in the movie might have played a role in pushing the Soviet Union to withdraw from Afghanistan. It's an interesting insight into how real-world events can impact the reception of a movie, and how movies themselves can sometimes influence history. Number 5. The real impact of the Stinger missiles. Let's talk about something pretty eye-opening from Rambo 3. You know those scenes where the Russian forces are facing off against American Stinger missiles supplied to the Mujahideen fighters? Well, guess what? That was no Hollywood exaggeration. Those Stinger missiles were a real headache for the Russian forces during the actual war in Afghanistan. They caused the downing and destruction of hundreds of Russian helicopters, making them a formidable threat on the battlefield. Interestingly, these missiles even made an appearance in the 1999 Kargil War between Pakistan and India. Number 6. The evolution of Rambo's knife. It's the first knife in the series that wasn't designed by Jimmy Lyle, the Arkansas knifesmith behind the blades in the first 2 movies. Instead, fantasy knife designer Gil Hibben took the reins, crafting a blade that's 2 inches longer than the one in Rambo, First Blood Part 2, and 3 inches longer than the knife in First Blood. During filming, the knife was put to use right from the get-go, with Rambo seen using it to pry up a mine in the minefield scene. Number 7. Dispelling the myth. There's this rumor floating around that the films were banned in parts of the UK because of a killing spree by Michael Ryan, who supposedly drew inspiration from them. But guess what? That's not the case at all. While a screening of the original First Blood was indeed pulled from UK television, along with another film, Nevada Smith, it wasn't because of any direct link to Ryan's actions. The media, including the UK's Daily Mail, jumped on the idea of a connection, turning it into a popular urban legend. Now here's the real deal. The film did face heavy cuts from the British Board of Film Classification, BBFC, for theatrical release in home video, mainly due to knife violence and cruelty to animals. But let's set the record straight. Rambo 3 was never banned in the UK. In fact, the DVD release includes all the cuts reinstated, except for a brief shot of animal cruelty involving a horsefall. Number 8. Behind-the-scenes drama. Jerry Fisher was initially hired for the job, but unfortunately he had to step down due to a chest infection that kept him from working in the desert locations. Then, Michael Saracen took over, but he also ended up quitting, along with the original director Russell Mulcahy. Next up was Ernest Day, but he only lasted about a week before being asked to switch roles and become the second unit director instead. That left camera operator John Stanier, who had initially signed on with Saracen, to handle the cinematography for the remainder of the shoot. Number 9. The story behind Rambo 3. The first written version of Rambo 3 was titled Rambo Holy War, and several writers penned their versions before Sylvester Stallone and Sheldon Lettich finally wrote the ultimate script. Now here's where it gets interesting. David Morrell, the author who created the character Rambo, revealed that while he was writing the novelization of the film, he received a new script almost every week, and each one was drastically different from the last. Morrell even took a shot at writing a version of the script himself, where Rambo and Troutman's wife team up to save Troutman from a dictator in South America. However, his script was ultimately rejected. Number 10. A legendary quest in Afghanistan. If you're wondering about the movie's place in the Rambo series, think of it as the Lawrence of Arabia or Down Under of the franchise. In this installment, Rambo ventures into Afghanistan with a dual mission, rescuing his mentor, Colonel Troutman, and aiding the Mujahideen rebels in their battle against the Soviet invaders who are holding Troutman captive. Much like the epic journeys and struggles depicted in Lawrence of Arabia and Down Under, Rambo 3 showcases Rambo's heroic quest in a rugged and challenging landscape, where he battles formidable foes while fighting for a noble cause. What do you think about the attention to detail in Rambo 3, particularly regarding the continuity of Rambo's scars from previous films? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in to today's video. If you enjoyed what you saw, don't forget to hit the like button and ring the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos. Your support means a lot to us. Take care until the next one, and feel free to drop a comment sharing your thoughts. See you soon.